with any profits you have, with any amount of money you have, find someone who does these things who can help you, because it will be worth the money.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
So, in your view, Bethany, what constructive or what? Because I get it. Sometimes, we become an entrepreneur, we need to do things that we don't like, and probably sales and marketing, talking to strangers is something that human beings were not conditioning to do. So,
Yeah.
what advice do you have for those founders that they don't take it seriously, but the truth is they don't want to talk to people, they don't like to talk to people, they don't like to design this strategy? Marketing and sales is about strategy, and they are, for example, software developers, and they want just to develop software, they don't want to get involved with that. So what message do you have for our founders that they are stuck there and still they understand the value of marketing?
Let's say you're a software developer or a house painter, whatever. Thinking about your story about the walls. And no matter what it is that you do, if you don't understand sales and marketing.
So thank you so much. And for all of you following the broadcast in our next episode of Unstoppable, how brave entrepreneur like Bethany break that wall and achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Thank you. How it was received is so local, and you just have to do the best you can and try to make it work. Yeah.
Any last message that you have for our listeners? If people are in love with this conversation, if people want to explore the possibility to have you as a fractional CMO for the company, how the process works, how can they find you?
The best way to find me is on LinkedIn. You can just search for my name, or you can find my website, which is www.redrhinoexec.com.
Thank you so much, Bethany, for attending for coming to the broadcast from Portugal. Yeah, so you have nice weather and nice food. So for all our entrepreneurs listening, remember, from this podcast, we want all the entrepreneurs to be wealthy, healthy, and happy. And sometimes being happy, it means to be in a place that when the morning you can see the sun and the blue sky. Yeah. And so this is something very good that we have as entrepreneurs, that because we design our own life, we decide where we're gonna work, how we're gonna work, what product we sell. We can see the world in a different way, and we can decide what kind of life we want to live. And a big supporter of traveling around.
Yeah.
Every time that I move to a new place, I travel to a new place and get out of London, I got better ideas, better opportunities. Everything that is stuck, all of the sudden on stock. I think that, but this is me, how I function. For me, I need to travel. So because as soon as I change my environment, it's stuck. So when I'm stuck, I travel, and don't ask me how, but things
fix themselves.
Yeah, I don't know, my brain, something wrong with me. So if you're an entrepreneur and stuck or whatever, try to change your environment. Maybe that it could be the weather, it could be the food, could be, I don't know, your environment. But we have to
get out of the routine.
Get out of the routine, exactly. Because when I'm living in sunny places, I wake up early. Because the sun is out. You don't want to be sleeping when the sun is out. But when you're living in London, what's the point to wake up? It's totally the opposite. In the morning it's so nice and so cold that it's very difficult to get out of bed. You're so comfortable inside.
Yeah. So I don't always live in Portugal. I spend part of my year in Portland, Oregon as well. And Portland, Oregon is so rainy and so dark in the winter. It doesn't work for me to be there. I just leave it.
Exactly. Yeah, difficult to take care. So London, the same thing. Beautiful though. Yeah, there's a lot of action there, but is had to take
Yeah.
for some people, they don't have this, so it depends on the person. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Bethany. So again, entrepreneurs, we want you not only to be wealthy, we only to be healthy and happy. So whatever makes you happy, do it. Yeah. And
Yes.
one of the things
Yes.
that makes you happy is don't be in a place that is raining and it's not sun. You always can
Agreed.
move because you're an entrepreneur. As long as you can work online and you have a computer and you design a business that can
Yeah.
be operated from everywhere, you go to speak with the software developer and say, look, you have to have the product in this way because this is what the market wants. And then the software developer said, no, we're not gonna. This is expensive and we're not gonna do it. So you sell it the way it is. So how do you think that's gonna work? So the
That's that's a that's a little problem there if
yeah,
the product team doesn't want to amend the product.
it's a cultural problem. So what's your view in culture? How important is culture in order to make this relationship effective? Because clearly I see this in tech companies. So clearly the culture of the product people or the value of the product people are totally different of the value of people or the team that is bringing the product to market, and they're not able to communicate. It's already difficult challenges to succeed in mind having those internal challenges. So how do you think that culture fit in all these case that we're talking
Mhm.
about today?
Yeah. I'm glad you brought up culture because that is fantastically important. And so I would say, going back to the list I just gave of how do you hire a fractional CMO, and the first step I gave was determine if you like this person. Let me include into that list and make sure that they have this, that they understand your corporate values and at least align enough to be able to uphold them in a public way. You hope for perfect alignment, but that might not be realistic. But let's just say aligned enough that they can be effective in portraying your company in a positive light and with the same values that you as the owner want to see your company portrayed.
A lot every day, actually.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If you're a solopreneur, that can be exhausting if you don't get the
Mm.
kind of support that is out there. So if you're a solopreneur getting going, you haven't made your first million yet, you have two choices. You can either learn and spend a considerable amount of your time doing sales and marketing. If you don't like it, it's just going to take a tremendous amount of energy from you, and you might end up being burnt out of your own business, which really can easily happen.
It's very
Or
common, actually. It's very common.
very common because if you're a
I see
solopreneur,
it. Okay, and by the way, why you decide to become an entrepreneur? You are very entrepreneurial, yeah, to be so young, yeah. You move a lot, you you travel a lot, you doing one business and then you're doing another one, then you do another one, and or running a family business. So when you decided that you're gonna be an entrepreneur, do you
with any profits you have, with any amount of money you have, find someone who does these things who can help you because it will be worth the money. The problem I see with a lot of people who are just starting out is they see marketing as a cost center, as an expense.
I
And
agree
that's
with
not
you
it.
100%.
Yeah.
That's
And
how they see it. And
that's how they see it.
I don't know who told them this. Where did they learn this? Definitely was not from us in this podcast. So from when do
Yeah.
you think that they're learning this?
Hell if I know. I don't know.
I'll tell you
It's
example, the clear example. Yeah, in COVID, decided that was a good idea to cut the budget in marketing. That was the first thing that everybody did. And I'm like,
yeah.
guys, you are crazy. Number one, you know how the thing works is by bidding. So if the rest of your competitors are not bidding, you have even cheapest cost acquisition, and this is an investment. You invest and you get a client that pay you money for your product. So how you gonna cut that investment? You need to cut costs, but they are thinking that the marketing is a cost, and then they
Yes.
cut it because it's a cost. So, Bethany, where do you think that there are people are learning this? Because I still don't get it. It doesn't make sense. I don't know
Mhm.
what book they're reading this, because since when marketing is a cost? Well, the principle is very simple, right? You acquire a client, you have a product that you sell it for $2 or for five, And then if you invest $2 and it costs you to produce, you invest in marketing $2 and it costs you to produce $1, well, you have $2 profit, give it or take. I'm making a very simple example. So how many times can you do that? Forever.
Yeah.
So then what happened? What's wrong with people? They don't listen to this podcast. I think that's a problem.
No, I understand a little bit because especially in the beginning, all you see is money going out. You have to pay for the marketers, you have to pay for the labor, you have to pay for ad spend if you're going to do ad spend, you have to pay to create content. And in the beginning, it is an upfront cost. But it does come back.
You have to invest. You don't have to pay. You have to invest.
It is an upfront cost, but it will come back. And a lot of people, I imagine, are seeing the money go out of their bank account, out of their hand, and saying, I don't entirely understand what's going to happen. I hope that this turns into sales. If you don't really understand marketing, especially digital marketing, and you're getting into digital marketing, I can understand the hesitation of, this money is going out. Am I going to see it again? And then especially if it's something like money for search engine optimization, that can take months before you see a return. And it's vitally important that you have a really robust website and, all of the whistles of the finest work for SEO, but you're not going to see a return immediately. And I can understand how a lot of people can get quite nervous about those going out at that point.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.